Apple's new Mac announcement is just a few days away, so this is really for all of you who need to know every rumor, every detail, just everything that we've heard about going into Apple's new MacBook Pro and Mac keynote coming up on October the 27th. This could be one of those keynotes where we really see a few surprises because we really don't know exactly what's coming. We do know that the MacBook Pros, they haven't seen a significant design change in over 4 years, so that is one thing we know, and out of anything, it's the MacBooks that we have the most information about. We're expecting to see a revamped 13-inch and 15-inch MacBook Pros. We expect a thinner design. There are rumors that will also have a dedicated Touch ID sensor, and they'll include USB-C ports and Thunderbolt 3 as well. Now, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but reports say that Apple will be ditching their MagSafe tech, just the biggest innovation in power cabling that they've ever come up with. That doesn't sound good to me, but the biggest change that we expect to see is the all-new OLED Touch Bar. This OLED Touch Bar will be above the keyboard. It pretty much replaces that row of function keys, and it will be able to adapt and change depending on the app you use. So if you're using Safari or you're using a media player, the buttons on top will morph and change to that. Bloomberg says Apple is calling this internally the dynamic function row, but that name may change, and also we might see the Polaris AMD chip expected to come in the higher-end 15-inch models. Now let's talk MacBook Airs, and Mako Takara reports that Apple is going to discontinue entirely the MacBook Air 11-inch model, but they still expect to keep the 13-inch model in play. One of the new changes and tweaks that we expect to see is that the MacBook Air 13-inch will now also come with USB-C ports instead of the standard USB they've used in the past. And Apple's ultra-thin MacBook 12-inch will still remain in the lineup. That one's really a keeper. But if there's really one thing that I want to see at this announcement that no one's really talking about, bring back the black MacBook. It doesn't have to be that crazy, shiny, jet black finish on the iPhone, but for those of you that want to go old school, I'm telling you, bring back the black MacBook. Now, we haven't really heard any major news in regards to updates for other Macs. There has been one nugget about new iMacs possibly coming with AMD graphics chips for the new models. But if you talk about the Mac Pro, that hasn't been updated for 3 years. Then you talk about the Mac Mini, that hasn't been updated for 2 years. So we'll just have to wait and see if Apple does anything with those models. And for all of you who have just been asking me, when is Apple going to bring out a brand new Apple display? Well, Bloomberg reports that Apple and LG are working together to create a 5K display that can connect to some of its computers. Again, this information is very early, so if we see it at the keynote, this is the time to show it off. Apple's new Mac keynote happens on Thursday, October the 27th. That's at 10 a.m. Pacific time. It will be held on Apple's campus in Cupertino. But that's pretty much everything we've heard about Apple's new MacBooks and new Macs before their official announcement.